Brooklyn Independent Television.
For those old enough to remember or young enough to appreciate the magic of music played on vinyl, welcome to Academy Records Annex, Brooklyn's answer to lovers of old school and hard to find jams of any genre. Viva la vinyl!
My name is Mike Davis, and I'm the owner of Academy Records here, the store in Brooklyn. Well, Academy Records goes back a long way. It started as a bookstore on 18th Street in Manhattan, and they sort of had a little record section in the back because a lot of times when they buy book collections, people want to sell their records also. And the records started to grow and grow, and eventually they opened a store next door to the bookstore, and eventually I got the idea to start a separate store just for the records. And talked to my boss, and we became partners and opened a store originally on East 10th Street in the East Village. And in 2004, I've been living in this neighborhood in Williamsburg, Greenpoint since the early 90s, and anyone here who's lived here can tell you it's changed a lot. And just had the idea to open a record store here because there wasn't one really devoted just to records at the time. This is Tigger the Attack Cat. He inspects all customers as they walk in the door. He's a tough monitor. This is our small CD section. This is about as big as it's ever going to get. I thought that records had enough qualities of their own that they would never really go away entirely, and that there would always be a niche or demand for them. Obviously there's people that just dispensed with all physical formats altogether. The fact that a digital MP3 or people have everything in their iPod, they don't have anything physical attached to the music, and I think people do sort of miss that at some point. And this is the listening station, a very popular part of the store. Sometimes there's quite a bit of a line here. I've thought about getting more turntables, but I think two is enough. But yeah, if you come here on a Saturday, sometimes you can wait about 10 or 15 minutes to get a turn on here. Records are a funny commodity because they go from anywhere from 50 cents to thousands of dollars. Between what we have in the bins here, what we have in the back room that we're going through, what we have in storage in the basement, I'd say anywhere between 50 and 150,000, depending on the time. There's very few things that I don't have. In fact, I really can't think of any single genre I don't have. When I started having a store, rock records were not so much in demand. I mean, they were, but the sort of staple classic rocks like Beatles, Led Zeppelin, The Who. You could sell those records, but I think people went through a period where they're sort of tired of those bands and hearing them all the time. But now, as the years have gone by, there's sort of a whole new generation, and it's, well, I guess it's not, it's a little surprising, I'd say, that, kids in their 20s, these bands had their heyday before they were born, and they're very, very much interested in them. It's amazing what people over the years have come up with for cover designs. I think it gives them a little more of a connection to the music. If you're just talking about like an iPod, the music's just coming like out of nowhere, and in a sense you have nothing to go along with it. When you look at like a classic record cover, like a Marvin Gaye or a Beatles record or something like that, and you look at the artist and there's some artwork and maybe there's some words from them or you can read the lyrics, it makes the music like much bigger and it gives you a much deeper connection to it. And as our lives become more and more digital and more computer oriented, a lot of things have less and less tangible correlation or tangible aspect to them. And I think people aren't quite ready for that. I don't know if people are ready to live their whole lives in cyberspace just yet. A well-recorded, well-produced, mastered record is substantially better sounding than a CD or especially an MP3. I don't really have a favorite record. It's just too hard. I lived in this neighborhood for a long time and watched it change. Went back in the early 90s, and this neighborhood was completely different. There would be like hookers and scary guys hanging out, and all these other side streets had nothing on them. This is sort of a growing, active community. There's people moving here all the time. So it's a sort of ever-changing kind of growing community, even though there is the sort of Williamsburg hipster cliche that's doesn't really describe a lot of people here. It makes it fun, and it makes it possible to have a store that offers all kinds of stuff because there's going to be all kinds of customers coming in the door. And then here we have like the jazz section, the soul section. We're moving to the used record part of the store, which is the bulk of the records here. So we have a pretty big new section. The used vinyl has always been and will always be the main focus here. On a good day, we probably get a few hundred people coming through here. I get people in their 60s looking for classical music. I get people in their 50s looking for classic rock. I get people in their 20s looking for the new bands coming out. I hope to get the idea that their records are still alive, that they're still available, that and that there's a whole huge world of music that no matter how knowledgeable, that there's things you don't know about and that they're just available. You can just walk in and find out about them. You don't necessarily have to go on a big quest or have a big research project going to discover it. That there is all kinds of music that they don't know that they would love if they got a chance to check it out. And I like to think of this store as a chance to check it out. This store is located at 96 North 6th Street in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, between Barry and Wythe. It's been great to show you around the store. Thanks for coming by.
You're watching the BCAT TV network.